Hey guys, you're with Clark Kent and Jason Witten on a special edition of Log Homes in America on Thursday.
That's right. Glad to have you here today. We're going to talk today about horror stories of log homes.
Yeah, being that it's Halloween, going to have a little fun, but at the same time try to convey some information to you.
We want to talk about the things that happen when you're building a home and things seem normal, but then you start hearing that scary music and you know something's wrong. Right. Exactly.
Anyway.
There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today, things that you need to be aware of and things that will save you time and money. Josh, where do you want to start?
Well, you know, the things that really happen that we know of is that the things that we see every day. I'm kind of stumbling here because I'm thinking about the lunch that we're going to have.
You're good.
But anyway, the things that happen to us every day, customers don't necessarily know, so we're just going to try to convey some of those points. The first thing that I would say is, you know, whether you're going to be your own contractor or whether you're going to hire a general contractor to do it, check references. Man, I can't tell you how many times customers have called in and the guy won't call them back. The company's taking their money. They're not answering the phone. Check references, check bids, just do your background.
And that's true if you're going to be your own contractor or if you're hiring a general contractor. If you're hiring a general contractor, a great resource is the Better Business Bureau. Go online to their website, see what kind of reviews you can find, word of mouth. One thing we do want you to realize is wherever you're building, we'll do everything in our power to recommend a contractor to finish the home after we build the shell or to construct the shell for you. But I want you to understand one thing. We're not going to recommend anybody to you that we haven't worked with before and had very good positive outcomes with. So
yeah, and you know, exactly that. You know, I tell customers all the time, you can use anybody you want to for the finish out or for the prep, whatever. The people that we recommend to you are going to be vetted by us. You know,
absolutely.
We're putting our name with them. So
it does us no service to recommend someone to you that hasn't done a log home before or finished out a Satterwhite log home before.
Or left somebody in a bad place.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, the next thing is you might think you have the perfect plan, but what if it doesn't fit your property?
Yeah.
We can modify the plan. We have about 70 standard floor plans, I'd say, that you can modify any way you want to, or you can do a complete custom. We have 2 draftsmen in-house that do an excellent job of helping the customer, walking them through from start to finish of what they want their home to be like, how it flows on the inside and the outside. So there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind when you're talking about situating a house on the property. What's some stuff they want to keep away from?
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. So, I mean, the biggest, the broadest thing I could say is plan together. You know, you can't necessarily pick a plan within reason and not have the property in mind. It's something that needs to go together. If you've got enough experience and enough knowledge to do that yourself, you can. We're happy to help. You know, anybody at Satterwhite's happy to help. GC, stuff like that. But you know, some of the things are like, you know, like I said, you've got to know your setbacks. You got to know literally how much space you have on your land to put the house.
Right. Well, and that's where it comes in. It's convenient if your job site is within reasonable driving distance from our office. We would love to come out there, stake out the overall dimensions of your project, shoot the grade, kind of see where it fits on your property, and align it where it makes the most sense. One thing you want to make sure you guard against is if you have any big exposed walls or large gables with a lot of glass in them, you really want to keep away from facing those south or west. If you do have to face them south or west, you really need to take into account putting a large gable porch to kind of cut down on the sun exposure, because that's going to increase your heat transfer if you have a west or south facing wall towards the sun.
Yeah, and building on that, you know, just porches in general. Some of our plans don't have a full wraparound porch. Right. Some of them do. A lot of times that's something that the customer, if we're trying to get in budget, the customer's like, well, let's just delete some porches. Man, you really don't want to delete porches.
How many times have you ever had a customer come back to you and go, man, I hate these side porches. I just can't stand them.
Never.
The answer is 0, Josh.
Yeah, 0.
There, thank you. You kind of hesitated, but it's 0.
Well, I was letting you finish talking before I cut in on you. I know how much you like that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, yeah. I mean, it's the difference between, you know, how happy and maintenance free a house is in 5, 10, 20, 30 years with porches and without porches is just a world of difference.
Well, with wraparound porches, you completely take out the sun, the wind, and the rain from ever being able to harm the logs.
The wind doesn't hit the logs?
It doesn't hurt the logs.
Okay. You confused me.
Well, I'm just trying to teach you, Josh.
Jab me, I'm going to hit you with that.
So, sun, wind, rain, that's all stuff that can degrade a log wall. But if you have side porches, that goes away. So,
well, and not just side porches, like you said before, gable porches. If you've got a gable in with gable glass, really no matter what side it's facing, but especially like you said, south and west, a gable porch to stop the heat transfer.
I would say on a house that does not have side porches, you can expect on those unsheltered walls to reseal them about every 5 or 6 years. On a house that has wraparound porches, how long do you think? 10 or 12?
Yeah, I tell customers all the time, 10 to 12 years easy, maybe longer.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more money on the front end, but I can guarantee you're going to save the time and the money of having to go out there and care for those log walls. So, okay, let's see another. What else we got here, Josh?
Insurance, I would say, builder's risk, kind of changing gears, but definitely a big thing to talk about is, we touch on it with customers. If you're really not in the know, it's a good question to ask. But when you start a project, you're going to have a lot of money. And if you're dealing with a bank, they're going to require it anyway, probably. But if not, or if somehow it falls through the cracks, builder's risk insurance is basically a short-term insurance policy for the house and the materials on site. Basically anything that's on site during the construction until your permanent homeowner's policy takes over.
Right, and we've got Fred Roberts is the guy that we recommend for our builder's risk. He does an excellent job. It's not an expensive policy, relatively speaking. Just imagine if you were building your house, you got the trusses up, and then a big storm comes through, rips the roof off, tears it all up. You're not without a builder's risk policy. You're going to be
out of pocket.
Out of pocket for those materials, and that's not what you want.
Nobody's going to cover it. Yeah.
No.
Theft too.
Right.
As long as the house, in my understanding, as long as the house is reasonably secured, if theft or vandalism or something like that happens along the way, you cover it. I mean, it's so important for such a small fee.
Right, and you do have to show a reasonable attempt to lock the material up.
Can you tell us all of those steps?
Of what?
The reasonable attempt to.
No, just put a lock on it, Josh.
Okay,
you'll be fine.
We'll get the producers to put that on the screen later.
Okay, we were talking about banks requiring builder's risk. Another thing you want to make sure you don't do if you're getting a loan for this house, you cannot manipulate the land by any way, shape, or form before that loan is closed. Okay, so
it's really the basics of a mechanic's lien. Without getting too much into it, the bank doesn't want you putting any money, doesn't want anybody doing anything on the land, on the house, so to speak, before they get involved. If you're using a bank, obviously, that somebody could potentially try to put a lien on the house or on the work that they've done beforehand, because then that ties up their legal ownership, at least during the loan of the house, and that's not something that you want to do.
Absolutely. So, again, make sure you don't do any dirt work, or especially don't pour your slab before you get your loan closed.
Oh, for sure.
If that happens, that loan is probably not going to go through. So
yeah, at least a lot of red tape that you're going to have to cut. But any of these things like we're talking about, feel free to contact us. If you have questions about it, we'll walk you through it.
Absolutely. Okay. What about, let's say, how many times have you heard of a customer, they've got their perfect plan, you got their budget in place, the loan's closed, and they're in the process of finishing the house out, and then comes some upgrades?
Yeah, so, in a very broad sense, a lot of times when you're building a house, you have budgets or allowances for aspects of the house.
All builders are going to give you allowances for every facet of the job.
Right.
Now, what you have to make sure you do, unless you want to come out of pocket, is you have to stay within those allowances. If you have, let's say, a $10,000 plumbing fixture allowance,
right.
When you go to pick out your plumbing fixtures, you need to keep it under $10,000, because anything over that, it's going to come out of your pocket.
Yeah, the builder's going to say, we had $10,000 earmarked for this. The tub you picked out's $9,000. How are we going to get the rest of the fixtures for $1,000? So, I think we talked about this a video or two ago, but setting expectations with the builder, pictures, any way, with us, any way that you can convey what you're expecting, just helps stay on budget, helps.
Come on.
Not have overruns. Thank you, buddy. You're such a good guy. That's why he's not in the booth anymore. He's back on the field.
Right.
Folks.
I had to go back to football this year. So, okay. Another thing we've heard of in the past, this doesn't happen too often, but every once in a while you'll get some shady builders that are running specials or, log homes for cheap. And what we've seen in the past is these builders have gone to log home companies and they've bought what they call second quality logs. And those are basically logs that are seconds for a reason. They're going to have blemishes on them. There's something wrong with every log.
Yeah, seconds just mean you got first quality, which means they're cream of the crop. They meet grading standards, which, this is what typically is procedure for building a house with. Seconds are stuff that for whatever reason, they're not to the quality that the builder, that a company would typically sell.
As a first.
That's right. So we do sell them for outbuildings, well houses.
Sheds, stuff like
kennels.
that.
And you can do whatever you want to with them, but you just need to know what they are, what you're getting.
It kind of goes back to checking the references on the builder, but it flew in my head for a second, so I wanted to say something about that. I guess one other thing, a wise man once told me, Josh, that log homes are like a dentist.
Who told you that?
Danny Grizzle.
That Danny Grizzle?
That Danny Grizzle over there in the picture. If you take care of things along the way, routine maintenance, you're not going to have any trouble. But if you let things lax,
for sure.
Even on a house with wraparound porches, every year you want to get out there and treat it like a car. You don't have to pressure wash it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I tell customers, Blake. Because everybody owns a car. Everybody knows how to take care of a car. If you keep your car clean, washed, waxed, so to speak, the maintenance is easy.
Right.
Just like a car, a log house, if you push that, if you don't maintain it, if you let that clear coat bubble and peel and come off, you can't just go back and wash it and wax it. You're past that.
Exactly. So you need to start out by following the manufacturer's recommendations, and we'll help you with that on the exterior coatings.
Yeah.
Follow that to a T.
If you're doing it yourself.
All right. If you're doing it yourself, or if you're hiring someone, if we've recommended them, we can guarantee that they're going to put it on the right way.
Right.
But every year, wash it like a car, soap and water, just to kind of keep it clean. Keep the dust off of it. And I promise you, that house is going to outlast your grandkids' kids.
Talking about horror stories, to me, the most important thing with the log house is proper staining and sealing it the first time.
At the beginning.
And I'm just going to say my own thing, but if you use your own GCs, if you use your own subs for everything, I would use somebody that really, really knows what they're doing to stain and seal it the first time.
Yeah, and we've got several guys that travel.
Basically, they're nomads. Anywhere.
Yeah, they're gypsies, so they'll go anywhere.
For sure. That's how.
That's how you put it.
Describe them, yeah.
Okay.
And even if you can't, man, they're friendly, they're nice, they'll walk you through it. At our seminars that we do here twice a year, we have demonstrations. You can get hands-on, whether you're going to do it yourself or if you just want to know that the person who's doing it for you is doing it right, you can see how to do that.
Right, absolutely.
See how I brought that back? Mm-hmm. Brought it back around to come to our seminar.
That's right. The seminars are a great resource for information. I know we talk about that all the time, but we've got one coming up in May, first weekend in May. First or second weekend in May. You can get signed up for that. Josh, what other horror stories have you heard about?
Some of our competition's Halloween costumes.
Right.
I feel like we put them to shame.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're going to let you be the judge.
Yeah, of course. I'm not following where you're coming from here.
I'm trying to parlay. I'm trying to bring them in.
Bring them in.
Trying to show off the other ones.
Yeah, we've got some of the other employees have dressed up for Halloween.
We have a lot of fun around
We
here.
do.
We're having if you hadn't already heard, we're having a big fish fry today.
We're having a Halloween fish fry.
Blake's done basically no work today.
I'm just the pretty face on the camera, Josh. I can't be brought down by cooking fish. So we've got some of the guys, some of our employees here in their costumes. Danny, cut to them and let's let everyone check that out. Hey, there we go. And this is Sawyer, the little Ninja Turtle. Today is his 4th birthday.
Rooster.
And we've got Parker, the pumpkin. This is her first Halloween. And we've got little Avery, the beautiful little witch. So
I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys. If you will comment, first off, tell Sawyer happy birthday on your comments. If you will comment in the comments below and tell us who you think is the best costume here today, I'm going to give them the day off one day at some point in the future.
I didn't know that you had the ability to give people the day off, but that is something new.
Well, you never know. Sometimes you just got to grab the bull by the horns.
Guys, we are so happy that you tuned in this week. Next week, we have a special thing.
Tell them about next week.
Thank you. Next week, we're going to have a Veterans Day special. I'm back up. It's not Veterans Day. We're going to have a special about veterans, and that's going to be next Thursday at 11:30 Central.
It's really neat. I mean, it
is.
It's not something that I get that tears me up very often, but man, it's a good deal that we do. Blake cries all the time.
I'm sensitive. So anyway,
he's a big baby.
Guys, tune in next Thursday at 11:30. Sam Satterwhite's going to be here. We're going to be having a veterans special, and we certainly do appreciate you tuning in this week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hope you're having a good Halloween. Y'all be safe tonight.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call. Thank you.
We're always here. Thanks.
That's fine.
That's good.